I'm Jeff Schramm, and tonight we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Walnut Creek Mountain Bike Trail. It all kind of started, my son and I and one of his friends and his dad, we'd be riding our mountain bikes around on the horse trails, and we started following some small game trails through the trees, and we started moving some small branches and stuff and kind of made our own trails. And it got to the point where there were logs in the trails and we would need chainsaws, and we couldn't really do that without having permission from the city. So I went through the channels and contacted the city to see if there was an option to have mountain bike trails here at Walnut Creek. And after a few phone calls and a few meetings, we were given permission to start doing some scouting and scout different areas and kind of have our preferences of where we'd like to have the trails. And we put together a map and had another meeting with Mike Cunningham, the lake superintendent, and went over what our discoveries were and looked at it, and they gave us a zone. They said, well, let's give this a run. You guys can start in this area, and if things work well, then maybe we'll expand it a little bit. So that's kind of how it all began. It started with just 2.4 miles of trails the first year that we opened out here. There's a section here we call the Prairie. It's about 3 miles, and it's out in the prairie section. It has a bunch of native grasses, and they're different blue stem grasses, and we have a trail through there with some rock features. But when you're out there in the summer, full exposure, it's quite exhausting. So you go through your water a lot faster when you're riding through that area. There's about 8 to 10 volunteers that I have on we organize a trail day, and the group maintains this, and they actually have a trailer with mowers and weeders, and I try to coordinate a week or two in advance. Hey, this Saturday, let's meet at 9 o'clock and go out there and mow the trails, and we'll trim branches and fix ruts in the trail. So fortunately, I have a pretty good group of people that show up pretty much every trail day to help me. So it's not just me and one other person taking care of what's 5 miles of trail now. We have a Walnut Creek Facebook page. They can monitor that for weather conditions. Obviously, if it rains, we stay off the trails because that will increase the rutting. But we meet behind the Good Life bar at 6 o'clock pretty much every Tuesday, weather permitting, and we have different levels of riders. I mean, sometimes we'll have 3 different groups, the faster guys and gals in one group and the medium, and we can break up to a beginner course too. There's usually one person that's willing to break off from the group and kind of give somebody a tour if they've never been here before too. There's not a lot of elevation here. There's probably, I think if you do a lap, it's around 500 feet of elevation total. It really works good for a beginner, because somebody that's just getting into mountain biking, lots of elevation wears you out a lot faster. So this place, minimal hill climbing, so you're able to put in a full lap without a ton of effort. Walnut Creek works out great because we're surrounded by neighborhoods. So, kids meet up with their buddies or meet up at Walnut Creek, and I'll come out here, there'll be 4 or 5, kids riding together, hitting the jumps and, having a blast. I mean, it gives them an alternative to sit in front of the TV playing, video games all day. They get some fresh air and some exercise. So the features all have a ride around, so you can choose to ride around it instead of going over it. And maybe just eye one like, hey, that doesn't look so bad. And maybe the next time you're out there, you hit one of them. There's some log rolls here, and there's like a really small boulder that you can roll off of or jump off of too. So every time you come out here, just build up your confidence a little bit and just maybe take on another feature each time you come out. Or some people just enjoy the smooth cruise without hitting any features. So